I think also lately just trying to play music just for the fun of it without worrying about output or anything, or not filming it for social media, or not worrying about writing the next great song or writing a song that's bad and just letting it be bad without the pressure of just must be my next big thing. So that's fun too, to get more into the love of it.
Welcome to Invisible Not Broken. Today we're talking about the creative process, social media, and dating with disability. Our host Monica is joined by musician Laura Mustard, who lives with Vader syndrome.
So I haven't waited to talk to you. It has been way too long and I miss you. And I also miss the art in your background.
The happy puppy, just to match the happy
How
puppy.
can you not love? Oh, and real puppy. I was just looking at you. Oh, here we go.
Oh my goodness, who is that?
This is Glenda the good pug.
Oh my goodness, hello Glenda. This is
Very
Stella.
badly named. She's definitely not a good dog. She's a great hamster. I don't know about dog, but definitely a deformed hamster.
It's a wonderful description for a dog. I love it.
Are you back on tour?
I am playing out a lot around Nashville and doing kind of more writers' rounds and things like that. So that definitely is fun to be kind of back on stage versus I think the last time we met, it was still kind of shut down with pandemic stuff. So it's cool to be out there.
Yeah, we were like right there. I think the last time we talked was like, what, 2021?
I think it was.
Yeah. Not that
Yeah.
we're still in the pandemic, but there's a little bit more looseness to be able to,
Yes.
as I proved, because I just got my first round of COVID now.
Oh no.
That was a nice surprise. Yeah, I'm always behind the trends.
Catching up, I guess.
That was brutal. I don't mean to make light about this because that was about 2 weeks of hell. I do not ever want to experience again. So yeah, for everyone, mask up, people. This is not fun.
Yeah, no, I just got my booster again for like the 7th time 2 weeks ago.
I caught it while I was waiting for the booster.
Oh no. That's horrible.
I know. It was like one day before I was supposed to go get the booster, and my youngest had a 16th birthday party and everyone had tested. Everyone tested negative. And then the day after everyone came home, one of them tested positive. And I was like, oh, that's going to be it.
No. Bummer. Doing so well. So close. Jeez. 3 years. Well, are you feeling better now or is it still?
So much better. No, it was 2 weeks of like 103 fever. I like did nothing. I was like in my bed for like 2 weeks, not moving. Just
Oh no. Jeez. Oh
today's
no.
like my first day. I'm starting to feel like an actual human being again.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're on the up and up, but still it's a lot.
Me too. That was, I feel like, I understand like true physical suffering with like all the daily shit I go through. And then like something like this comes along. It's like, no, it can be worse.
It can always get worse.
With a cough and a fever and vomiting, that you can do dislocations while coughing. Isn't that fun? Yay, ribs.
Oh no.
Went full alien, like, that movie Alien, where like the ribs just open up. I was like that for about a week. Yeah.
Oh geez, that's horrifying. But well, yes, that's a good lesson. It can always get worse.
That's my happy news for today.
I love it.
Tell me about you and your life before I whine some more about deformed hamsters and COVID.
Oh, I kind of solid turn. I love it. But no, yeah, it's going well. I'm releasing some new music, so I have like one single coming out every few weeks or months or so, and then gearing up for a full kind of EP 6-song project coming out in February. So it's been fun to kind of share new music and do kind of promo for that too. And yeah, it's a good time.
Talk about like what's inspiring your music, because you are very personal with your music. It's not.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this one's interesting because it's kind of a collection of like older songs that just never really fit a project. And I was looking through them and I was like, oh, these are all kind of love songs. So they all kind of line up and almost tell the story of my dating in my awkward 20s. I'm like, great, this will be a good little project to talk about love songs. So it worked out well.
I'll wait him out the love songs because I mean, I'm old. I haven't done dating in like decades. So
yeah, no, and that's another new interesting development where I spent a year working on this project, and then 2 weeks before I released it, my partner and I split. So now I'm newly single, which it was, ended on good terms. We were friendly and all that. So that's all good. But it's just a very different perspective than I expected to be kind of promoting these songs in. So it's interesting kind of thinking about dating now when you're releasing this new music. And so, yeah, I actually haven't really gotten back out there, and I'm not really thrilled about running back to the apps or anything. That's not really my priority right now. I'm just enjoying the music, but that'll be a whole other adventure. Test with dating with chronic illness, and that's something fun to talk about too. But
we can get to that in a minute. Wild thing to be like, and it sounds like the whole Glennon Doyle thing where she was promoting her book and she was going like about like keeping everything going and then getting a divorce at the same time. How is that? How are you doing?
Yeah, no, it's all right. And like I think it was one of those things where it was kind of not in a good place for a while. We both kind of got to the point where we realized it wasn't working. So it wasn't like a big shock or a surprise or anything. Almost like the John Mayer song "Slow Dancing in a Burning Room" kind of comes to mind with that relationship. But
I've never heard of that song before, but I feel like that's one of the best lines I've heard in a while.
isn't that a great line? Yeah, it's a good one. So yeah, but anyway, so it wasn't like a giant shock, I guess. And for me, it was almost like relief of like this thing wasn't really working. We weren't really happy together by the end. So now we're both kind of doing our own thing, but we're still very friendly. And he's a musician in the area too. And so we want to keep it on good terms. We can see each other out and about while we're playing and all that. So we have a lot of respect for each other and everything like that too. So that's all very positive as they can get, I guess, with the ending of something like that. But yeah, no, I guess it's just a different perspective to be promoting these songs than that I thought would, right?
An important thing that we start talking about as especially disabled people, that it's not working is a good enough reason. I cannot tell you how much pressure I got when I was in my first marriage and like when I was dating people. No. This is the person who'll take care of you. Unless they are like, you better have a really good reason for leaving because they're stepping up to the plate. And it was such a weird thing of like, I'm supposed to be so grateful someone was willing to like be with me. And like, just that it's not working, it's not good is enough of a reason to leave. And so I'm sorry, but I kept you going on that. But I think it's such an important thing that we all hear that.
Yeah, no, I think that's okay to do. And yeah, I think it is this kind of scarier thing of kind of moving on your own, or even like during the pandemic, I had a urinary blockage and that led to like 3 different operations. And that was a whole, I mean, that was back in 2020, which just made that year even better. But it's much stable now, but that was a whole thing. And he was very kind to drive me to the ER, and he couldn't come in though, which was interesting because of the pandemic stuff. So he would like drop me up to the ER and get updates from the doctor and stuff like that. And would sleep next to me in bed when I had a urine drainage bag and stuff like that. So like to his credit, he was always very supportive and understanding with that. But I guess the hope is if he is, somebody else will be too down the line. Like you don't want to just stay with something, even if it's not working, just because they're doing that kind of, basic level of accepting you for who you are. Hopefully anyone else would do that too.
The bar actually is. My disorder has the 60% divorce rate.
Really?
Yes. And I think it's the loudest concert today. Let's see. Obviously, I have something to say. This is Pandorica Eloise. Please feel free to go over to YouTube and see like why I should never leave my door open when I'm doing an interview. Pretty soon there'll be a child who runs in here. Oh, it goes.
Yeah.
Like I have to just look on Facebook and you'll see like there's enough people that there are groups, women who have been left at hospitals after surgeries. Like it's so crazy. Like I just remember when I was diagnosed, my doctor sat my husband down like, so this is what you can expect. He's like, of course, I live with her. I know what she's going through. He's like, she's not lying. She's really in pain. He's like, of course, I know that. She's my wife. Like, and it's just so wild to like listen to this guy who was like telling my husband what my life is like. Like, I'm not capable of telling him. Like, he needed a man to give him like to believe this. Like, it was just such a gobsmacked moment of like, wow, when you're disabled in a relationships, it's kind of a wild ride.
Yeah, no, like, and it definitely puts a different level of like vulnerability and trust and all that. And even just dating and getting to know someone and like, hey man, are you cool with this? Here's all my stuff. Like, and kind of.
So I guess we're going right the dating thing. When do you feel like it's a good time? Like, I was lucky that I married my best friend. Like, he had like seen the worst of the worst when we were just buddies. Like, how do you decide to like,
Yeah.
come out of the disability closet?
Yeah, man. Well, it'd be interesting now because because the relationship I got out of recently was 7 years. So it's been a long time since I've been dating. So that's a big change too. But back then, like I didn't really talk about my medical stuff online, and it was like this very secretive thing. And now I'm doing podcasts like this, so that's on my social media, and like it's the whole thing. So I feel like most people kind of Google each other or like look each other up on social media now. Like if you meet someone new, you kind of want to know what they're about and start scrolling. So if anyone is interested, like they'll probably find it, and like it's not so. But part of me feels like that'll be a more positive thing in terms of it won't be this giant surprise, and it'll be a more of an open conversation, or maybe it'll scare you off before you get too involved. But then I don't have to worry about it. It's a good filter.
Yeah. And you can always like scare them with, I'm a songwriter. And if you're mean to me, people are going to be humming about it.
Exactly. Oh no, yes. Right now at the current ripe time for summer.
I'm going to say, how is the songwriting going now?
Going really well. Like I don't have a good idea. Nothing finished yet, but I have some ideas of half-finished songs, and we'll see what that turns into. But maybe next year there'll be more music. I'll be back in the studio.
Did you do that a lot where you like go back through like diaries and
Yeah, I do go through, and it was interesting, like, for this project, because these were all older songs that just didn't have a home, so it was interesting to, like, kind of re-listen to them and write them, but there were certain lines that, like, I did change here or there, kind of being more kind to 22-year-old Laura and her dating shenanigans, and, like, it's like, you don't have to have that much guilt about it, it's fine, you were working things out, it's like, so trying to have a little more acceptance for who you are, what you did, looking back on your
Such
past
a
self.
hard thing though, like, it's to, like, look back at, like, baby, like, 22-year-old you and be like, show up with compassion instead of, like,
Yeah, no.
shoulder shaking. What
Judgment.
are you
What were
doing
you
to
doing?
future us? Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, it was interesting because, like, a lot of those misadventures, like, I was in, like, one serious relationship in college, and that didn't work out, and then there was this kind of period of, I guess, kind of sadness and searching, but a lot of that was more kind of compensating, and, like, I didn't have a lot of self-acceptance around my medical stuff too, so I think was like, well, if I date this person and they say I'm attractive, or if they wanna fool around, maybe that'll be a good thing, and it's, like, almost doing it for the validation, and shocker, it didn't really work. Crazy, but I feel like just in hindsight, I can have this more sense of compassion of, like, you were doing this more from a place of hurt, like, lack of understanding of yourself, and I would hope that younger Laura would be happy with who I am now and having this positivity around myself and being able to talk about it more and just freedom around it.
the thing that I think a lot of people skip that step of is, like, you have to meet yourself with kindness if you want to, like, meet anyone with kindness. If you can't forgive yourself for stuff, you are gonna have the hardest time being kind to others. That's my message for all politicians, to, like, start being kind to yourselves so that you can be kind to the rest of us, please. Like now, yesterday.
Yep, yep. Now that would solve a lot of problems in the world, I think. But
I really do that. And, men, please hug your sons. I'm
yeah,
begging you, because we have so much history of seeing, like, how that works out. Yeah,
push all those feelings down. It'll be fine. I don't think so.
sure, absolutely. That seems to go real well for everyone. Just watch Succession to see how great that goes.
Oh man.
So for, like, what you were talking about, like, words and brain cells are just not chatting together. So forgive. The brain fog is real. You were talking about, like, that need to be accepted, and with chronic illness, I so feel that, like, aside from, like, I had a lot of body dysmorphia, ballerina issues, but just, like, almost like I didn't exist until someone liked me. And then that was enough, was to be chosen. I'm much older than you. And they're like, that was really, like, beat into the heads of, like, those who grew up in the 80s and 90s of, like, you are to be chosen. You don't choose. And it was such a wild thing. And then adding on to that, this idea of, like, being damaged. Like, my dad had this, like, massive moment of wonderful man, but he broke down crying when he saw, like, being in a wheelchair. Like, it was gonna be the worst thing in the world. Who will ever marry you? How will you work? It was like, that was such a weird thing. Was like, did you have, like, anything like that with, like, your family or friends, where it was like, I don't know, that's a weird way to phrase that. But it felt like, like, I was trying to figure out how I felt about it, and someone else was telling me how bad it was gonna be before I could even figure out how I was okay with it or not.
Right. Yeah. No, it's hard. And so for me, like a lot of my medical issues, I was born with Bader syndrome, which is just a cluster of birth defects that happen together. But for me, it really impacts my digestive and urinary tract. So using the bathroom is a big adventure for me and kind of always will be. But like growing up, like I guess that's even makes them even more vulnerable, kind of opening up to somebody about using the bathroom. And that's not like a socially acceptable thing to talk about. But I also can be very gassy at things, and that's great on a date. So just I think just the kind of whole taboo around that in general had that kind of like you're damaged or you're broken or you're not good enough and kind of a constant thought. And I was also teased a lot as a kid for it because kids are mean and you hit third grade and people look around. So yeah, I think that was definitely something I had to work through. And it really wasn't until like my mid-20s really that I had some semblance of acceptance. And really in that first relationship back in college, there was a lot of like projecting onto the guy and like, why would you want to be with me? Why would you want to do this your whole life? And if you say that over and over to somebody, especially a 21-year-old dude, they're going to be like, no, you're right. I don't want to do this type thing.
I mean, and not even gendered. I mean, my girlfriend back in college was like, I'm sorry, I'm only like 20. I cannot do this. And yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then even in my head too, like there's a lot of projection of like, like I'm 20 something now and it's really hard to like, what's going to happen when I'm 50 and my body starts decaying and like just this like long-term doom projection, which for anyone would be like, yeah, you know what? This isn't sound that fun.
Someone who's almost 50, I can tell you, it's certainly not fun. I'm not enjoying this.
Excellent. I'm glad I was right. All that.
You were so right. I just to put a little nail on the coffin of this Monday. It's 50 songs.
Perfect. One day at a time. But yeah, it's so hard. Yeah. So I think, but just having that mentality, that mindset, and even like after we broke up, like he kind of made a comment of like, it wasn't the medical stuff, it was more your attitude around it. And that was really
Oh,
hard,
wow.
which is fair. But yeah, so it's a hard.
Let's get postmortems, like real accurate
Oh,
postmortems
I
of
love doing
relationships.
that.
That's nice.
And that was interesting about this last relationship because he's a songwriter too. And we were like living together though. So like there was a time where we were broken up, but we were still living together. So like for about a week or two every night, we'd like sit on the couch and talk about why our relationship worked for like 2 hours a night for like a week. And it was painful and it was hard. But I think both of us were like fascinated by it. It was a very healthy, positive, open conversation.
Therapy boot camp.
It was wonderful. Like I have a lot of respect for him for doing that and chatting, and it was very open. And like I think some of that was like we'd been walking on eggshells around each other for so long because we just weren't in a good spot. But once it was broken, it was like, all right, well, I guess we can just say anything now. So here's what I was thinking when this happened. But again, like I do have a lot of gratitude for that relationship, even though it didn't.
It sounds like another thing to mind for your songwriting.
Right? Yeah. No. Like I mean, like I don't think I'd want to write a lot of like screw this guy songs about that. More just talking about grief and transition and loss and more of an overarching theme versus a petty jab if I can. But
a lot of the breakup songs are rather petty jabs. It would be nice to get some like actual thoughtful. Believe me, Alanis Morissette was my jam back in the 90s. Annie DeFranco, thank you so much for Both Hands. One of my favorite songs forever. If anyone actually knows that song, please, you need to message me. We need to be friends. So what are you going to be doing now? Because we have not talked in a minute. Are you doing the circuit? Are you still writing? Are you making more beautiful videos?
So I guess hopefully this will be out around January we talked about, but right now it's October. So next month I have a music video coming out with the next single. It's called Will You Go Walking? It's kind of like about hiking, but like sharing your favorite hiking spots with like a favorite person, which is nice.
Isn't that like the best part about a new person is getting to see all the new places?
Yeah. Kind of sharing all that and opening up all that, which will be kind of exciting. So it'll be fun to kind of, down the line, if I do date someone again, show them all my favorite little hiking spots if they like to hike. But I made a little music video and that was cool between January and June. Like I just hike all the time with my dog. He's snoozing on the couch.
Oh my God, look at that sweet little face. It doesn't, this little sleeping, adorable Labrador does not look like this dog is willing to go hiking for anything or has just gotten back from a hike. But this is a very cute, sleepy, small baby.
Which is not her main state. She likes zoomies and she's the fastest dog at the dog park and she's like a ball of chaos. But when she sleeps, she's very chill and
she's absolutely disproving you right now. This looks like taxidermy. This does not look like a nap.
I have videos I can show you.
I want to see the videos.
Yeah, I'll send them to you. She's a fast girl. But yeah, that was a cool video because like I would go on these hikes, some with me, like and even up in Connecticut, Massachusetts, kind of visiting family, taking little videos with her too. So I kind of synced them all together. So it's like a little time lapse kind of video of hiking from January through June, kind of set up to this song and like all these different places. And some shots have snow and sometimes it's summer. Like, so I think it's a kind of a cool little nature, project. So I'm pretty excited about that one that's coming out next month.
I cannot wait to see that. I love your videos.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I do like putting things together, putting kind of a visual part to the music is really fun.
It's so hard to like when you're an artist or when you're doing one thing and then it's like, okay, but now I have to think of a new way to package this, show it, new storytelling on top of the storytelling I already did, and then get people interested in. Then you need to put on your marketing hat and then like figure out how to be like you're doing like 20 jobs while being creative.
Yes, I am. And also having a full-time job.
Yeah, that's right. You do. You have a full, I blanked on that. I'm so sorry. Yes, you have a full-time job too, as well as being a singer, songwriter and a video creator and a content creator. And I am pretty sure you're a marketing person. I don't think you have a team.
Not really, no. I mean, I work with like an artist coaching company in Nashville and they kind of give you advice as to how to, kind of like when to release things and like different marketing strategies and stuff like that. But I'm the one physically executing everything. We're kind of getting, support or kind of advice on the best practices to do this. But I call it 0 to 60, little shout out if anyone wants to look them up. But yeah, it is a lot. And the plans I'm always tired. I'm doing all these things.
Like being just, sick. That.
Yes, exactly. All my medical stuff. Yeah. And also, I mean, I do spend a lot of time in bathrooms, and that's where I do a lot of my songwriting.
Notes app comes into handy because I swear that Notes app is everything.
Oh, yeah. Big part of my life. And sorry, what was the question? How do I do everything?
How do you do everything? Because I wouldn't even be able to try to replicate it. But it was just more of like, is there anything that works well for you when you're trying to like handle everything aside from the Notes app and long times in bathrooms and in waiting rooms in all the doctor's offices because my God, that's a whole job in and of itself.
Yep. Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. All the managing of that or ordering medical supplies, just keeping on top of all that whole thing too is a whole other little job in itself too, for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, like I have like a little planner that I put everything in, and that does help me to try to organize stuff and kind of like a running list of like tasks to do. And just journaling my feelings about how I feel overwhelmed all the time. It just helps me to kind of process some of that, and also just try to give myself credit. Like I think I don't always zoom out, and, like take a look at everything on my plate. I just feel like I'm like not on top of everything as I should be. But it's like, well, the moments like this, they're like, oh yeah, well, there's a reason for that. So trying to be kind to yourself as you're managing it. But yeah, I guess just kind of organization, which is also not my strong suit, but trying to be more organized and again, kind of using that coaching company that helps kind of keep a running list of tasks too. And you get like little pings and reminders to do this thing. I mean, I guess I do kind of break it up where like I kind of do promo more for like 6 months and then I kind of get back into more of a cycle of writing. Like I kind of write little things all the time, but right now I'm more of in like a promotional phase or versus like pure creation. But I think also lately just trying to play music just for the fun of it without worrying about a, output or anything or not filming it for social media or not worrying about writing the next great song or writing a song that's bad and just letting it be bad without the pressure of just must be my next big thing. So that's fun too to get more into the love of it.
I love what you're saying of like the
Yeah.
cycles of it. So you're not trying to be like, okay, I'm going to be creative at 9 a.m. and then at
Yes.
10, I'm going to like figure out the hashtags. And then at 11, I'm going to post stuff. And then the idea of just doing something without worrying about being good. Like, I love that we're so obsessed right now with this idea of like the hustle culture. You better learn how to like do content creation for Instagram and like make a business out of it. Like I'm a horrible singer. My kids begged me not to sing them lullabies. I still sing all the time. I love it. It makes me
Yeah.
happy. Like you don't have to be good at something. Just enjoy.
Yeah, no, I mean, like even this guitar I got this summer, but I'm like very new to guitar playing. I'm like, I never promised to be a guitar player. It's like, it's just something I mess around and it sounds terrible and I'm learning. Maybe in 10 years, like I'll put it on a record and do something. But right now it's just me. It forks like a creative release for fun without this must be a certain way. So that's nice too, kind of giving yourself little areas to be bad in and have fun. I think especially with social media and being in a city like Nashville where everybody plays music and everybody wants to kind of make it just like you, the competition can be overwhelming. And it's something I've kind of felt a little burned out with, honestly. So these kind of taking conscious steps to kind of pull back and have fun creating. And also with social media, I think I've kind of like stopped caring about whether my reel goes viral or whatever. Like, or there's even like best practices, or you should post at this time, or only use 2 or 3 hashtags, or all the stupid rules. So like I'll do a few, like I'll only maybe put 2 hashtags on because that's what you're supposed to do. But I kind of just send it out there. Then it's like, oh, you don't like that one. I have another one for you tomorrow. Maybe you like that one, kind of thing. So we're not caring as much about the kind of output or the response to it.
I think Instagram needs to start a fund for all of us artists to pay for our therapy because they keep changing all of these rules. And it's like, hey, we're the ones who are actually making the product you sell.
You the money here. Yep.
So why are you torturing us? Just stop it. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and some of that, like they kind of make it like a lottery system so that like you'll try a lot and then one will go off and get viral. So with kind of the random reward psychology. So it keeps you on there a little longer and you're not paying for it, but your time and attention is what they're profiting off of.
yeah, emotional distress. Like you make something for like 1,000 hours and like someone's little stick figures go viral. It's like,
Yes, that happens all the time. Yep.
deep breath, like someone who just like lip syncs or like, does a prank and is mean to someone. I was like, wait,
That
really?
goes viral. Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. The rage I feel about times when it goes off and something that I put a lot of effort into doesn't do anything. But again, and like I also try to have fun with it too. So like when I'll put up covers that I think are fun to do or songs I like or just videos of my dog running around that I think are funny. Like I feel like I'm kind of my own biggest fan. Like I think everything I post is really great. But like yeah, maybe it doesn't go up. But like as long as I'm having fun making it or it's a stupid joke that I think's funny or it's I don't know, like whatever. At least I'm having a good time with it because I'm the one who's spending all this time on it. So
I'm glad we talked about this because I think I might be able to like implement that. 'Cause it's so stressful when they're like, hey, you have to niche yourself. And I'm like, niche myself. But I'm a farm mom and I do cute little watercolor illustrations and then I do horror illustrations. And then I write poetry and I write novels and I have kids and I have a garden. Like, what part do I ignore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard this one creator talk about how like you are the niche, so like anything you're doing is you. So like you try to get people to care about you,
Ooh,
care about you and your story. So like today I'm doing music. Today here's my dog is Laura the brand or whatever. Like, do you like this? No. Tomorrow here's what Laura's doing tomorrow. Like,
love that. But how weird that like regular people are branding themselves. Like
yeah, no,
it's one thing for like adults, but like my youngest is 16 and she actually made the choice to get off social media. We had very heavily monitored the social media, but she decided to get off of it because how are you supposed to know who you are at 16, let alone create a brand for yourself? And like stuff out and you're just so like accidentally step the wrong way. And then the come down is
yeah, or even just putting your kind of being that young and like looking for that validation of the clicks and likes and stuff like.
I have trouble. I hate myself for how much I care. Like I have to knock that off. Like, and I'm almost 50. Like, how is this still a thing? Like, I'm not 16 anymore. It suddenly turns you into high school again.
Yes, yeah, that kind of craving for it for sure. And I think too, like I can like, I'm very self-aware, very aware of all my issues, but I'm not great at fixing them or making any sense.
Oh my God. Very Alice in Wonderland. I often give myself very good advice. I just very rarely follow it. Yeah.
So like all this makes sense, or like you're the niche, or like, I just put it out, but I don't care. But like I still care. Like I still care a lot more than I should. But I think even just admitting that and trying to be aware of what you're doing or admitting you have a problem is the first step, as they say.
Oh my gosh. Yes. We need to start our like 12-step program. I was even going to say like one of the things that I discovered, which I didn't want to do at first because I had like an ego about it since I'm a writer, was like using the Chat GPT AI stuff for the social media things. And I was like, oh no, I'm a writer. I can come up with that. It's like, but do I want to spend my creativity coming up with something for Twitter?
Yeah, that's true. I haven't messed with AI much because I'm like too scared of it. But like, I guess if you can, find a balance of it and be able to, post in a way that's not, I don't know, it doesn't take over your personality. Like, I don't know that much about it. Part of me, maybe it's the creative. Like, I'm a creative. I'll write my own stuff. But I guess theoretically, if you could like offload that onto this robot, why not?
I just say, like, I mean, I run this podcast, I run another podcast, but it's a totally different thing. It's for kids and history. And then I write books. And then I also sell my artwork. So it's like, there's like 4 different major things that all require social media. And I can't switch voices like that throughout the day. Like, yeah, I also have kids to raise and I have chickens that are summoning some sort of old god up there. They're in the middle of some sort of like plucking circle that I can kind of hear. I have deranged like little hamsters. Like I've got stuff to do other than try to like remind people that I exist. Like,
Yeah, no, it's such a hard, yeah, no, it's definitely a hard line to walk. And like, I can't imagine doing separate businesses because taking care of my own music stuff, which is kind of like a business in itself, but
yeah. No, that's a
one,
business. Like
one is exhausting them.
yeah, I really wonder why I thought that, when I got too sick to run my photography studio and I had to retire and because of my disability that I should open 4 more things just to prove that I should exist. Like, I don't know where that thought process, actually, I do know where that thought process, again, it's the first step is admitting it. And then maybe eventually we start to deal with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess like if all those projects are kind of bringing you joy and it's a positive thing, then that's cool. It's just trying to figure out how to manage the promotion of them in a healthy way, but it's easier said than done for sure.
That's definitely easier said than done. We're almost at the end of our time, and I just
Oh my
want to
goodness.
I know. I swear, like I need to steal you more often. So we're gonna have all of your links on our show notes. Is there any other place people should go? Spotify, Apple? Where do you want people to listen to your music before you actually get paid?
Yeah. Well, none of them really pay you, but Spotify and Apple are both good if that's a place you want to check out. And yeah, I guess for like booking and stuff, they kind of look to see how many people stream your stuff on Spotify. That's the place where most people check for getting more opportunities. So that's helpful, but it's fractions of pennies. So wherever you want to look, that's fine. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all the giant corporations that I sell my soul to promote my work. Sure, they're not listening to the shadow band on Spotify.
I mean, basis if you're listening, for God's sake, pay your people and pay your taxes.
Exactly. Yeah. So anywhere you stream music, you can find me on there. If you want to buy it, that's fine on iTunes or whatever. That's cool. I'm on all the social media places. TikTok, you can see my dog and stuff.
It was adorable. Please go and look at the darling little sleepy puppy. I've been assured that this puppy actually moves, but
She
so
does.
far,
She
so
does.
far,
Also-
this has just been very cute napping.
But yeah, so if you want some quality Stella content, you can I'm on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, wherever you like to scroll on
I
there.
mean, I think that you should just have your whole account be Stella doing zoomies with your music in the background. I think that's a new marketing strategy.
That is a genre on TikTok that I have several kids of Stella just running around. What's my song in the background?
That's just your entire feed right there.
Yes. No, yeah. She's an integral part of my music marketing strategy.
Get right off her dog food then. Like,
Right. Yeah, I would love to write her off as a dependent on my tax. But I'm allowed to do that.
write off their dressage horses and their yachts. I think you get to write off
Your dog.
All right. Well, I'm going to close this out with my favorite question. Is there anything you bought in the last year for under $100 that made things just that much better?
It's a good question. My first thought was my guitar, but that wasn't $100.
That was not $100. I can look at this guitar and that's a beautiful guitar. And that is not $100 guitar.
It's very nice. I mean, puzzles. I enjoy puzzles. That one
my
back
God,
there.
yes.
I have a little jigsaw puzzle on my desk that's like a Halloween scene. That it's just a nice way to kind of come home and unwind, and you get a little dopamine hit that, every time you get two together, which is more healthy than your likes on Instagram. So that's good.
I just got, it's not $100, not even close, but I got the Meta Quest 3 thing.
Oh.
And it's the VR headset.
Oh, cool.
I'm addicted. It's insane how much I love this thing. But they have like a puzzle game on there, but it's real places. So you get to put together like a shrine in India. And like it even gives you like the haptic click when you click it in.
Oh, nice.
No
yeah.
mess on the ground. Like that was my problem with puzzles, is I dislocate. So like I'd be like leaning over for 5 hours, forget what time exists. And like this way I don't have to do that. And I can lay down and do it. It's so cool. I am the only person who has gotten sports injuries from jigsaw puzzles. God damn it.
That's amazing. Very impressive.
So I will take my accolades where they come. Oh my gosh, I miss you so much. You have to come more often.
Love to.
Everyone, please keep an eye out. Tinu has not been feeling well. If you can donate to her, please do. She's trying to pay for her cancer meds, so her podcast is on hold right now. We're still hoping for Dion to come in, but he's been dealing with some health issues. So until they're there, please keep listening to Invisible Not Broken. Be kind, be gentle, be a badass. It does never, I keep saying this, but more important, we need to be much kinder to each other. All right, have a great month, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today. To find out more about today's episode, including show notes, transcripts, and more, please visit invisiblenotbroken.com. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also support this show by heading over to our Patreon or by sharing these episodes. We are non-advertising, and our growth is thanks to you listeners. Thank you to our hosts Monica and Laura for a wonderful discussion. This episode was edited by me, Luke Spine. Last but not least, be kind, be gentle, and be badass.